Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sara binti and my entry number 2516920, and today I'll be talking about the main issue on a book titled Does My Hat Look Big? And this by Randa Abdel Fattah. So in my presentation, I'll be talking about a few things. First thing, I'll be talking about the author biography, and then I'll be talking about the novel summary and also the 3 key points of this novel and also the conclusions. So before we dive deeper, I'll be talking about the author of this book, which is Randa Abdel Fattah. She is a Palestinian Australian author, academics, lawyers, and also activist, and she was raised in a highly political Palestinian family. She was raised in highly political Palestinian Egyptian family in Melbourne, and this novel was actually her debut novel, and she wrote this novel in high school to represent herself, which is an Australian Muslim wearing a hijab. Now we'll be moving on the novel summary. So this novel is about Amal, a 16-year-old Australian Palestinian Muslim girl who lived in Melbourne. And one day, she decided to make her personal decision to wear hijab full-time, despite going to the private non-Muslim school in Melbourne. And throughout her journey, she faced challenges such as stereotype, prejudice, and social scrutiny at her private school while navigating typical teenager issues like friendship and crush. There is 3 key points in this novel. The first one is identity and self-acceptance. The second one is stereotypes and prejudice, and the last one is faith and courage. We will be starting on the first key point, which is identity and self-acceptance. For the first key point, which is identity and self-acceptance, in excerpt 1, there's a line: I'm experiencing a new identity, a new expression of who I am on the inside, but I know that I'm not alone. So this line shows that Amal choose to wear the hijab to show who she truly is inside, and it's her personal choice to define herself. She wants to be defined as a hijabi, and knowing that there's millions of other women out there also wear hijab to define themselves, she feel accepted, and also she feel like she's a part of the big group. The second excerpt for this key point would be the line: as scared as I was walking around the shop in the hijab, I was also experiencing a feeling of empowerment and freedom. So basically, even though Amal is afraid of what people out there might think of her when she wears hijab, wearing the hijab itself also make her feel strong and make her feel freedom. And these freedoms come from deciding how she want to look for herself without caring about the strict fashions and also caring about those beauty rules. Now we will be moving to the second key point, which is stereotype and prejudice. In my slide, the excerpt 1 for this key point would be: there was always somebody in the playground to tell the walks to go home. So the word walks mean an insult that used by white people to the immigrants and also non-white people. And this line is clearly an example of racism, and people use a hateful word like walks to tell the main character Amal and others that they did not belong in Australia, it's also showing the unfair judgment, which is prejudice against the immigrants. The second excerpt for this key point, stereotype and prejudice, will be: but I used to take it off as soon as I stepped outside the school gate because man, you need God to get on public transport with it on. This line clearly showing that Amal was afraid to wear the hijab in public, and she definitely knew that strangers would stare or judge her because of the wrong idea, which is stereotypes about Muslims. And by taking it off, it's her way to hide from the expected prejudice that she will be received. For the third key point and also last key point would be faith and courage. In my side, the excerpt one for this key point would be a simple line: I was ready to wear the hijab. This line showed the determination from Amal to wear hijab despite the prejudice that she will be received. And even though she was scared, but her strong religious belief, which is faith, is stronger than her fear. She want to be brave. She want to be brave and courage, and still wear the hijab to show her faith and feel closer to God, even though she will be receive a lot of stereotype, prejudice, and a lot of racism and bad stares by people. But she still insists on wearing the hijab because wearing a hijab is a way of showing her religious belief. For the second excerpt and also the last excerpt for faith and courage would be the line, I'm terrified, but at the same time, I feel like my passion and conviction in Islam are bursting inside me, and I want to prove to myself that I am strong enough to wear a badge of my faith. This is a very simple statement, but it shows faith because being ready means that our religious belief is strong and complete, and it's also show courage because deciding to wear the hijab in a non-Muslim school is an act of bravery, because not everyone have the courage to do the same thing with Amal do, which is wearing hijab. And by wearing hijab mean that she is ready to face her fear and also face all the starings for the sake of her faith. Now it's the part of conclusion and also overall of this novel. So overall of this novel, which is Does My Head Look Big, and this by Randa, Abdel, Fattah, is actually a novel that celebrates identity, faith, and also courage. And it's a novel that follows Amal's journey as she learns to balance her religious belief with the challenge of living in multicultural society, because she has to face a lot of challenge just to stay true to her faith. And through humor and honesty in this novel, the author of this novel, Randa Abdel Fattah, managed to highlight the struggle many young people out there face while trying to stay true to themselves. And I think the main character of this novel, which is Amal, is a very great example to people who want to stay true to their faith, because despite the stereotype and racism that she received, she still stays true to herself and still wearing hijab, even though she has to face a lot of consequences. And this novel also reminds us that being different is not something that we need to hide, but it's actually something that we need to be proud of. And this novel also teach us to respect diversity and also teach us to challenge stereotypes, and we need to also have the confidence to stand firm in what we believe in. And I think that this novel is a great example for people who want to stay true to her faith, but at the same time scared of what people might think. We can make Amal as the example, because despite all the consequences that she received, she still stays true to her belief and ignore other people's, and do not try to satisfy other people, because she believes she is strong in her belief. So that's all about this novel, and I think this novel taught us a lot of things, and that's all for my presentation for today. Thank you.